Many of you have been asking me where I'm going next, what my next island is, what my next adventure is. And while I'm super excited that you guys are excited to see where I'm going, unfortunately, I'm not going anywhere. You might have noticed that my last video was me going on a day trip from Athens to Hydra. I will link to that in the description box below if you're curious. And I haven't really said anything on my Instagram stories about going anywhere, and that's because I've had a travel fail. Sort of an epic proportion considering I gave up my apartment for the summer. Back in the spring, I decided that I was going to give up my apartment. I wasn't super happy there. I loved the apartment and I loved the neighborhood, but it didn't have a balcony. And in the winter, they didn't turn the heat on. They did for a while, but it was very brief. But we're coming out of lockdown and things are starting to open up. I'm going to travel this summer. I'm going to go all the places that were on my list that has just gotten huge over the lockdown because I keep seeing all these beautiful stories and things of Greece. And I thought, okay, I'm going to travel all these places. And I had a friend come and we went to Eos. I've been there before, but it was great to go back for 3 weeks. And then I had to come back here to Athens for various reasons. And then I started to look for other places to go, and I just couldn't find an island that had any availability. I searched high and low. I pretty much searched every Cycladic island, even some not, and I just couldn't find anything for the month of July or the month of August really that I could afford. And some islands actually had no availability for August whatsoever. I remember looking at Seraphos. There were like 2 hotels that I could go to for like a week, and it was going to cost like $1,500 or something. And I just thought, what is happening? This isn't normal. I think a lot of things that have happened is that since Greece was one of the first countries to open to Americans, everybody booked their summer holidays here in Greece, which is great for Greece. I'm super happy for them. But it means that I couldn't go anywhere that I could afford to go. If I had wanted to go maybe back to Santorini or go to Mykonos, I could have, because they have a lot more hotels, but then it became a matter of not being able to afford them, and I don't really have a desire to go back to Santorini or to even go to Mykonos at all at this point. I did try to find some places in Crete because it's such a big island, but all the places in Hania were either too expensive or were completely booked. So it's just been a little bit of a challenge. So I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now, trying to decide, A, what I'm gonna do, but also like, how did this happen? And, you know, what can I learn from it? Because I was trying to be one of these people that like didn't book things in advance and was just gonna sort of fly by the seat of my pants, which I don't normally do. I'm very much a planner when it comes to travel because I like to know where I'm sleeping. So what I didn't look at is sort of the global trend of where everybody was going, and that's what I should have looked at. And it should have been pretty obvious to me that Greece was going to be super popular this year. The other thing is I should have at least booked something for when I returned to Athens to go somewhere else, because I think I would have then been on an island and then could have looked for longer term housing, because a lot of times what I've done in the past is gone to an island and booked a hotel room for like a week and then found something at a more reasonable price for a month, because I don't like to go to places for just a week. I like to stay for at least 2 weeks. It's just, A, it's usually more affordable, and I get to know the place a lot better because I have to work during the week. It's not like I have 2 weeks of just running around exploring. I mostly do that either on the weekends or in the afternoons when I take a couple of hours off between the 2 sections of time that I work. That was another mistake. I didn't like immediately book something when I was in Eos because I didn't think that this would be an issue. I would say that normally in Greece, coming not in August, but in July, even, you can still come and maybe find something just on arrival, but that's not the case. And it would be the case if I had unlimited funds, but I don't. So that was another mistake, was not planning ahead for once. Now you may be asking, well, what are you gonna do now? Because you're obviously still in Athens. I'm gonna go stay at a friend's house for a few weeks, and then I'm hoping to go to Naxos. And most of you know I love Naxos, so that's not an issue. I do want to explore places in Greece that I haven't been to, but the good thing about being in Naxos is that a lot of the islands that I want to go to are nearby, so hopefully I can then take short trips from Naxos to those islands and have it be a little bit more affordable while I use Naxos as my base to travel from. I'm still working out the details on that, and I don't know if it's actually going to come to fruition or not, but I have to try something. If for some reason Naxos doesn't work out, I don't know then, and that's unusual for me. I don't like to not, again, know where I'm sleeping, but I'm also in this weird moment of that I don't really want to get another apartment yet because I do want to keep traveling, and I think once we're into September, that's going to be a lot easier. And I'm actually planning on going home to the States in November for a little bit more longer time than I normally do. So I'm like, well, if I could just travel through September and October, then in November I could just go home and not get an apartment and then come back in the spring and maybe get an apartment. Why am I telling all of you this? It's because I want to be upfront with you about what's happening. I don't want you to think that I'm living this spectacular life of travel in Greece, and like life is still very normal here for me. Sometimes when you see people living an expat lifestyle, or even if they're digital nomads, you don't see the bad parts of that life. And I'm not saying this is bad. I've had a really great experience in this room that I'm staying in, and friends have been helpful in trying to help me either find an apartment or, you know, find an island to go to. I've had a lot of friends offering to help me find a place. So I'm really grateful for all of that, but it is still frustrating, and I am living in a hotel, and I'm still living in one suitcase, which I would be doing on an island, so in reality it's not terribly different. But things do happen when you live this way, and a lot of them times they're out of your control, and I have been very frustrated by it, and I have been very sort of sad that I haven't been able to travel. And that's really no one's fault. It's not even really my fault, except that I don't make enough money, but that's a video for another time. So, you know, I just have to get over that. And hopefully I'll go somewhere in September and I will be in a better place to share content from Greece with you guys. And I know this is a little bit different than most of my videos, but again, I just wanted to be honest with you guys about what happens sometimes when you live this way, particularly when the country that you're traveling in is still your home base. There are some advantages to that, obviously, because I've been able to get help from friends and I know people here. But if I was in a country that I didn't know people or I didn't have a base in, it would be even more difficult. So even though a lot of digital nomads and expats have this fabulous seeming lifestyle, it's not all that it's always cracked up to be, and not everyone shows you the reality of it. So that's kind of why I wanted to share this. So if you have questions about this lifestyle, please let me know in the comments. I will either make another video or I'll just answer your question down in the comments below. So if you like this and you want to see the Greece content that is coming, then please subscribe. And again, let me know if you have questions down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.